In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to create this kind of background with Photoshop. So I was actually working on a client's website and then I came across this kind of design and I loved it. I wanted to find out, okay, if I can build this. So one thing that I picked out is that this is a background image on a website. So I'm going to go ahead on Photoshop and I'm going to click new. Once I click on new, I'm going to use most of the popular sizes for web banners, which is 1920. That should be 1920 pixels by 1080. I'm going to say background image. Okay, so once that opens, this is our canvas that we are going to be working with, and this is what I'm going to be playing around with. So if I come back to this image, I will see that there is a couple of elements that we need to interpret. Number one, there is a rectangle shape here, and then there's another rectangle shape here, and I think this is more of a rectangle shape again, and this is again another more of a rectangle shape again, which overlaps here, and there is another element which is in the background, which is a little bit fading. As you can see there in the background is a little bit clear, and then there is a shadow, and then there is more of a circle right here behind this person. I'm just going to create exactly this kind of background. So let me just go to Photoshop, and first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw element like this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to properties and I'm going to kind of increase the size of the corners here. So I'm going to go with 90. 90 is pretty good. Let me see if I can change the color. So that's the color that I need to put there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that part, and then I'm going to increase this. Okay. I'm going to hold the corners here and kind of twist or tilt this shape so that it kind of comes out like that. Okay, so as you can see, I do have a cool shape here, and that is got rounded corners. And then let me just see if I can twist this again. Let me just, okay, there we go. I do have my first shape that I have there, and I'm going to also leave a little bit of space here at the bottom. So the second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate, so I go with edit. Okay, let me just select this. I'm gonna go with edit. There is copy, edit, paste. So I now have another shape that I have here, and I need to see if I can change the properties for this. Let me just take this to the background again. I'm going to take this to the background, and what I'm going to do is to open the window, and then I put layers. The reason why I added layers is because I need to make the second shape faint. So I'm just going to make this faint. As you can see that the image now is faint, and I'm just going to move this and the background, and I want this to fade just a little bit. I want this to fade a little bit. So there are two ways of how I can make this fade a little bit. So I can convert this. I right click that, I convert this to a regionalized layer, and then I pick up the brush 2 here, and then I increase the size, and then now the brush 2 is good. It's actually painting in yellow. That's not what I need to use. So I'm going to click on the eraser. Where's the eraser 2? I'm just going to type E on my keyboard, and then the eraser 2 is going to show up, and then I'm going to erase. I need to make sure the hardness is a little bit soft, and then I need to erase a little bit of that part. So as you can see now, the shape is in the background, and it's kind of fading out. Okay, So the second thing that I'm going to do is to pick the picker tool, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the polygon tool. The polygon tool is what I'm going to use here, and let me just change the number of sides. The number of sides there, I'm going to put 3, and then I'm going to draw the polygon tool. So now once I draw the polygon tool, let me see if I can go on properties. What sort of properties can I give this? Layers. I need to change. So let me just, again, I'm going to restandardise this layer so that I can put a little bit of ink. I'm going to take the magic wand, select that, and then I'm going to put in this color. So basically I do have the first shape there. So there are so many ways of how you can do this, but basically it's what you understand is much better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this a little bit like that. Okay, and then I'm going to push it here. I'm going to push it here, and then I'm going to duplicate. So on my Windows keyboard, I'm going to type in out. I'm going to click out while I'm clicking on the shape, and then I click on the mouse. I drag, that duplicates the shape. And then what I'm going to do now is to go to layers, because I need to make this a little bit faint. Opacity, I reduce the opacity, and I put this here. And then I'm going to click out on my keyboard. I'm going to click out on my keyboard, and then this, I'm going to click on my mouse, and then I'm going to drag again. This will duplicate. Now I need to change the color for this. So I'm just going to click on the color picker. I need to go with a little bit of grayish. Once I go with a little bit of grayish, I'm going to take the magic wand. I select that shape, and then I fill in that grayish color. Okay, so moving back to our image, as you can see right now, I have this shape, this shape, this shape. I have that faint, and then I have this shape. I need to add the shadow here, and then I need to add the circle, and then lastly I'm going to add the person. So what I'm going to do here is I need to add the shadow. I'm going to select this element, and then I'm going to go on layers. Let's see if I can add this is the selected layer. I'm going to click on the FX, and then I go with drop shadow. If I go with drop shadow, as you can see that here I can now put the size. Let's see the distance. I can't see anything. Spread. Okay, so I've selected, it appears that I've selected the image that is behind this. So let me just select this one. This is the image, this is the correct image, the correct object I mean. So I'm just going to click on here, drop shadow. There we go. As you can see, I have a little bit of a drop shadow there. Let me just show you. I'm just going to reduce the size. As you can see, there's a little bit of a difference, and then I'm going to have a little bit of a drop shadow. Distance, and then yeah, that is that. So now I need to put the circle in here. I need to put the circle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a circle. I'm going to draw a circle. I'm just going to push it a little bit here, and then I'm going to go on edit, copy, edit, paste. That means I've got 2 circles here. Let me just put different colors, and then I'm just going to put this one. I'm going to make this one gray. Once I do that, I'm going to make these circles overlay, and then I reduce the size of the circle. I reduce the size of the circle. What I'll then do is that I'll convert this. Let me see if I can use a magic wand here. No, I can't. I have to convert this to a shape. So what I'm going to do is I go to layers. I'm going to reserialize this, then layers again. Now I have these two shapes. Okay, I have these two shapes, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both of them by clicking shift, and then I need to merge them. Okay, so merging these two shapes is like, I would say merge layers. Is it layers or okay, I've merged layers, so that means they are more like a one shape. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the magic wand, just gonna highlight that. It's going to select the orange part, so I'm going to cut out the that color. But before I do that, I need to make sure that I make these. Let me just cut out that part. Okay, I've actually clicked Ctrl J, which is a shortcut to cut out. So I now have this shape with this color, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the magic wand again. I'm going to select that. What I'm going to do now is to put in white. I'm going to add white here. As you can see, I now have a white color. Okay, let me just go ahead and select this white circle. There we go. That's the white circle that I have there. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I am going to make sure that I reduce the opacity. Yeah, so if I reduce the opacity, there you have it. I now have a little bit of a circle at the back. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the image. Let me just go ahead and import the image that I need to use. So this is the image that I need to use on here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that the reason why I selected an image that has got a background is so that you get to learn that I had to cut this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the lasso tool. So the first thing that I do is that let me just click on the picker tool. I'm going to zoom in this part. I'm going to zoom in this part as much as possible, as long as you can see. And then I'm going to take the lasso tool, and then I'm going to cut out around the around the edges. So now that I'm done circling this person, you may need to take a bit of time so that it can be as smooth as possible. I'm just going to double click so that I join these paths, and then I hit the select tool on my keyboard, and then I'm going to hit J. That means I've actually managed to cut out this person. Okay, so check this out. This is not as clear as it should be. Let me just see if I can go back again and then try and use the that's fine. Let me just leave it like that for the sake of this tutorial. Just going to click on that. My image has got poor quality as well, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to come here and then try and use the lasso tool again. Cut out this part. You need to take a bit of time in doing this smoothly. There's a separate video that you can watch that shows you how to do this. There we go. I have an image now. So what I need now is to make sure that the image is inside this item, and then at the same time it's kind of overlapping on the other side. Let me just go ahead, and as you can see now that this image is this image is cool. This image is cool. It's kind of overlapping outside here, and let me see if I can increase this size here. Okay, something like that. Yeah, something like that. It really doesn't matter. And then what I can do is I can actually push out these to come here. Okay, maybe I can twist my person. Yeah, something like that. I just need the head to be outside of that shape. And then in order for me to cut this person, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the lasso tool. And then I'm going to try and cut out this image. Let me see if I can zoom in. I'll cut out this image exactly there. Let me just zoom this out so that you can see the results. There we go. I've actually cut this out. And then I'm going to cut this out. There we go. So there we have it. I now have the image that looks almost the same as the one that I've showed you in the beginning. And let me see if I can select all these. I need to make sure that this goes down a little bit. And then this can be a very cool web banner. And if you want to, you can actually add on these elements like circles. If you want, you can actually add circles and reduce the opacity here. Reduce the opacity as well. If you want to add different colors and anything in between. If you want to maybe do that, if you want to do that, if you want to do that, it's really up to you. So this is how this image was done. This is how this image was done. And once you put it at the background of a website, then it will be, I don't like this image, but anyway, it's fine. So there we have it. Let me know if you have any questions for me in the comment section below, and thank you so much for watching, and bye.